Hi everyone, we're going to study Psalm 137. I chose this psalm because it has multiple references to Jerusalem, and Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel's Independence Day, is coming up. It's next week, Tuesday night and Wednesday, April 28th and 29th, or the 5th of Iyar on the Hebrew calendar. The setting for this psalm is right after the destruction of the first temple in Jerusalem, which was the year 586 before the Common Era. So the Israelite community has been exiled to Babylon. So the setting is very sad, and this is where the psalmist begins the text. So I'll read in Hebrew and then translate into English, and then offer some commentary. Al Neharot Bavel. Sham yashavnu gam bachinu, bezochrenu et Zion. By the waters of Babylon, there we sat down, and we wept as we remembered Zion. Now, if these words sound familiar to you, they've been set to music many times, including by Don McLean, who wrote and sang American Pie. Even our own cantor Wayne Krieger, when he was here, he led our adult choir in a 3-part round of this setting in the Hebrew. It's a beautiful, beautiful text. And I think the power of this first verse is it captures the absolute, horror and sadness and depression of the exiled Israelites. They are sitting by the rivers of Babylon, a foreign country, and they're crying, they're weeping. But they're weeping for Zion. So at the same time as they are despondent, there's also the hope of Zion, the hope of Jerusalem, that eventually maybe they will be able to return home. So this first verse captures both degradation, but also hope. Here's the second verse. Al aravim betocha, talinu kinorotenu. Upon the willows in the midst thereof, we hung up our harps. A kinor in Hebrew is a harp. So we Jews, we know that we are a singing people. Our services are just filled with song and melody. And so this image of the people who had taken up their harps, their musical instruments, that now they're setting them aside on the willows, the willow branches, because willow trees grow by the river, so it's an appropriate reference. We're setting aside our musical instruments because we're in exile, and we're just so depressed that we just can't play and we can't sing. It's a crushing image. Here's the third verse. Kisham shoelunu shovenu divrei shir v'tololenu simcha shiru lanu mishir Tzion. For there they that led us captive asked of us words of song, and our tormentors asked of us simcha, mirth, joy, gladness. Sing us one of those songs of Zion. And to me, it seems like the captors, the victors, the Babylonians who destroyed our temple are just taunting us. It's possible, according to some commentaries, that they were speaking directly to the Levites, who were the ones who played instruments in the Holy Temple and sang these songs. The singers themselves, the Levites, the enemy taunted them and said, "Come on, sing us a song of Zion, of Jerusalem." And you can just hear their laughter. They're mocking our terrible state of affairs, that we're in exile, and they're just making fun of us. It's a powerfully brutal image here that the psalmist is evoking, being sad and being mocked by our tormentors, the captors. There's a response from the people, from the Levites, that maybe they said to themselves, maybe they actually said to the Babylonians, we don't know. Ech nashir et shir Adonai. al admat nechar. How can we possibly sing a song to God when we are on foreign soil? It's like, it's just their whole spirit has just been taken out of them. The wind is totally out of their sails. They're in a foreign place. They're completely out of their element. So they say to their captors, how can we possibly sing? We have no soul. Our soul is dying in this foreign land. And then we have other verses that are well known. Oh, and by the way, I love that the enemy says, Shiru lanu, sing to us, when so often throughout the Psalms, the psalmist wrote, Shiru ladonai, sing a song to God. It's as if the captors knew that and are saying, now forget about singing to your God, now you can sing to us. Oh, it's just brutal, absolutely brutal. And now here comes a couple of well-known verses. First in the Hebrew, Im eshkachech Yerushalayim, tishkach yimini. If I forget you, O Jerusalem, let my right hand wither. So maybe that's, the right hand is, most people are right-handed. Maybe that's saying, if I forget you, Jerusalem, let all of my strength just go away from me. Or maybe it's talking specifically about playing the harp. You know, if I forget you, Jerusalem, I won't sing anymore. I won't be able to play anymore. It's almost like a pledge to never forget Jerusalem. I will never forget you. I will never, lose my strength. I will never lose hope. Because with you, as long as you are alive, Jerusalem, there is always hope. The psalmist continues, Tidbak leshoni lechiki. Let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. Im lo azkarechi, if I were to forget you. Im lo a'aleh et Yerushalayim al rosh simchati. This is a little hard to understand, this verse. If I don't set Jerusalem above my highest joy. And I think the psalmist means here that even in life's most joyous moments, they should be tempered by the fact that this moment in history happened, the destruction of the temple and the exile of our ancestors. This sadness, this sad, tragic point in history should tinge all of our happiness and temper it moving forward. So I think the psalmist isn't saying, don't be happy anymore. God forbid. I mean, we like to celebrate, but the psalmist is saying, be careful with being overly joyous, because life can turn in an instant, as it did for our ancestors in Jerusalem. They were exiled and brutalized. So in the midst of our simcha, of our joy, we should remember that, life can be a roller coaster and things can change, and we should be prepared for that possibility. We can't be joyous all the time. There will be some times of struggle. This might be part of the reason that we break a glass at a Jewish wedding. At the height of, or near the end, at the end of the ceremony, we're so happy, we're joyous, there's love, this couple has come together. But nonetheless, we break a glass to remind us of the destruction of the temple. We temper our intense joy with a little bit of sadness. Again, a reminder that life is beautiful, but it's not always perfect, and it's not always as sweet as honey. There will be bitter moments, and if we're prepared for them, we will persevere and survive, as our ancestors did when the temple was destroyed. I'm going to stop there. I hope you enjoyed this psalm. Again, it's Psalm 137. Thank you.